Here, listen. She just won't let me in.
Fortuna Major.
Wait, I have a question. Who is the actual villain of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban? Is it Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, or the Dementors? You might have thought one or all of them, but none of them is the actual villain. And to find the actual culprit, we need to look closely at the symbols used in the film.
But first, you must broaden your minds. First, you must look beyond.
The film was released 20 years ago and it changed the direction of the whole franchise. And I swear I was scared to the bones when I watched it for the first time.
Mysterious thing, time. Powerful, and when meddled with, dangerous.
Time plays an important role in the film, if not the most important. It shows its presence during the whole runtime of the film, whether it be as a person reading brief history of time, or Harry trapped inside a giant clock, or whether it be as monoliths making a sundial, an ancient instrument used to measure time. We see the passage of time visually through seasonal changes of Whomping Willow. Not only this, but when we don't see time visually, we hear it. We are made aware of time from the start. But not even once we are forced to see it as an outside entity. It has been blended so well in the film that we don't even notice it, only subconsciously. Look at how camera moves through the giant clock in two sequences. One when Harry and Hermione goes back in time, and other when they return back. It shows visually how they are traveling through time. Prisoner of Azkaban is arguably the darkest film of the franchise, both literally and metaphorically. Dementors being the physical manifestation of depression and darkness, and they are dark in color too. But what about light?
But you know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers to turn on the light.
This line is not in the book. Then why to add it in the film? To understand this, let's look at one of my favorite scenes from the film, where Professor Lupin teaches Harry the Patronus charm to deal with Dementors, and to do this, he needs to think of a powerful, happy memory. At first he fails, but look at the next shot, when he recalls his happiest memory. There's Professor Lupin at the background, Harry in the middle, and light in the foreground. This is a visual callback to the Dumbledore scene, confirming that light means the moments we cherish. It may not be true, but who cares if it makes us happy? It makes sense given that Dementors are the foulest creatures.
They feed on every good feeling, every happy memory, until a person is left with absolutely nothing but his worst experience.
That means they suck out our light. As in this scene, an actual light is coming out of Black's mouth, signifying his happy memories being sucked out. And that is the reason why the very first line of the film is
Lumus Maxima.
Harry trying to turn on the light in the dark. And he turns the light on when he walks through the corridor in search of Peter Pettigrew, expecting he'll face Peter, but instead faces himself, his own reflection. Not only this, but Harry faces his reflections more than once in the film. One after his first encounter with the Dementor in the train, and other when he has Bogart in the wardrobe class. And as per the book, there is no mention of mirror on the wardrobe. It might be a stylistic choice for the film, but given that there are other reflection scenes, then it is worth questioning its presence. It's fairly logical if you notice that Bogarts don't actually have a face. It turns into anything one is afraid of. So a person standing in front of the mirror has to face his own fear, or to say himself. So the reflection is symbolized seeing through ourselves, the light and the dark, the happiness and suffering. So fear is the actual villain of the film.
That suggests that what you fear the most is fear itself. This is very wise.
Dementors are just the physical manifestation of his own fears. This film is not about Harry facing Dementors, but about Harry facing his true nature. Even the theme of nature is very nuanced in the film. For example, you have to pat the spine of Monsters book if you want to read it. You have to respect Buckbeak before you come close to him, because it's his nature, and
It is not in the nature of a Dementor to be forgiving.
it's not in the nature of Fat Lady to sing.
Amazing! Just with my voice!
She just has to open the door.
It's alright. Go in.
Aren't there too many doors in it? There's a 20-second door closing sequence in the film. What do all these doors mean?
Keeping. I'll come back later.
When in doubt, I find retracing my steps to be a wise place to begin. Good luck.
What can be wiser than the opening scene? Opening scene tells a lot about a film. As in this scene, Harry learning the incantation. Then the door opens and we see Uncle Vernon. Harry pretending to be asleep. And it tells us two things. Closed door implies safety, security and comfort, while an open door signifies challenge, vulnerability and danger. We will fall into a trap if we identify a symbol with a single idea, because it can mean one thing in one scene and can be entirely different in another. Look at this scene. Dementor opens the door, gives way to danger. What about this scene, where the Gryffindor's door is scratched, implying that Hogwarts is unsafe, and Dumbledore orders to
Secure the castle, Mr. Filch.
Even stairs do the similar thing as door. When Harry goes upstairs, it's towards tension or problem, and when he goes downstairs, it's towards resolution or relaxation. One significant scene is they go upstairs the Shrieking Shack towards a problem and comes down with a resolution. Watch the film with this thing in mind and you'll see a different perspective unfolding before your eyes. But what is the one thing that is a prerequisite for us to see through ourselves? It isn't the mirror. It is just a symbolic medium. But what is it that sees through the mirror?
In this room, you shall discover if you possess the sight.
The sight is the most important of all. How one sees things. It might be different from other people. For example, reading tea leaves is a matter of how we hold the cup. One might see the grim, or other can see a wonky cross and the sun.
So, you're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it.
You see now why Harry is constantly reminded that he has his mother's eyes, and
She had a way of seeing the beauty in others.
Harry sees the beauty in others and himself. And that is why there are POV shots, and the transitions used in the film was black iris, which mimics the contraction and expansion of iris. And all these things emphasize the idea of sight.
I expect you're tired of hearing this. But you look so like your father. Except your eyes.
You have my mother's eyes.
And one last thing that I have to say is,
Use your inner eye to see the future.
thank you so much for watching.